I'm Nick, and you've reached the Aether. A few weeks ago, I traveled to Lilydale, a hamlet in upstate New York founded in 1879 as a haven for spiritualists, feminists, and freethinkers. And now, one of the world's most notable centers for mediumship. The energy there was so tangible. I felt it the moment I arrived. I'd bought early bird tickets to a spoon-bending event, led by Shannon Taggart, ahead of the weekend's many workshops on spiritualism, dreams, myth, archetype, and occultism. Armed with my handy Zoom recorder, which I later found out was not allowed, and ready for dense immersion, I thought I'd find intellectual material to parse later. What I came away with was something entirely visceral and irrefutable. A thick, stainless steel spoon from Japan, etched with a gorgeous, intricate floral pattern and bent in my own hands like clay, rendering it an indestructible talisman of the mind's limitless reach. Spoon-bending rose to fame in the 1970s with the rise of parapsychology, thanks to controversial figures like Uri Geller, a performer who claimed telekinesis, bending objects with the mind alone. Here, what I discovered wasn't a trick or a sleight. What I experienced felt like genuine psychokinesis, defined simply as the ability to move or alter matter through concentrated mental focus. As a millennial, I didn't encounter spoon-bending in the 70s or through Geller. I saw it first, as a lot of us did, through pop culture, in the movie The Matrix.
Do not try and bend the spoon. That's impossible. Instead, only try to realize the truth.
What truth?
There is no spoon.
There is no spoon?
Then you'll see that it is not the spoon that bends, it is only yourself.
And again, for me, about 6 months later in the cultural timeline, as a 13-year-old backpack rap fan circa 2000, in a lyric from the song Drawbridge by Aesop Rock featuring Dose One.
Oh, it'll be soon. Balloon immune at doom blend. I ain't ditching the kitchen till every spoon bends. A glance along tomorrow, sorry, looking at a hopeless was the rain dance. My little flint never dreamed.
And as that song looped, stuck in my head, as I anticipated the event, what started as a pilgrimage for research turned into an isolated millisecond when I felt the lightning flash of the limitless meet the material. What makes all of this even cooler is that I might have never met our guest if not for this experience. Peter and I were strangers, and the second our spoons bent, we became friends. Peter is a multidisciplinary artist based in Vancouver, Canada, who explores the intersections of sound, movement, and form. Together we reflect on what it means when spirit enters matter, when imagination reshapes the material world, and when the impossible suddenly becomes tangible and undeniable.
So most of my work is using, I'm a musician and a sound artist, but most of the work I do uses sound as a way of kind of engaging or thinking about the world or putting our bodies in the world differently. And the classes that I teach are similar. I've been teaching kind of what they call like building new interfaces for computers for a long time.
Cool.
And like, so we have the mouse and we have the keyboard and we have this camera, but how can we use these things differently? Or how can we build other systems that explore like the temperature of your body, your breath, uh, your position of your body in space, movement. I work with dancers a lot. And it's very exploratory. It's very experimental because it's really hard to know. You can't be like, I want to build this system and then build it exactly the way you thought it. You have to kind of play with it and find the cracks and the different parts of the system that are interesting and work with it, you know? So it's treating the computer as like a collaborator rather than this economy device, if you
God,
will.
that's so cool.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean,
It's amazing.
I have, it's always complicated as computers become more and more kind of extractive mediums. Um, that garner shorter and shorter attention spans. Like how can we push back? How can we resist that? Like how can we work with these things in slower ways? So
Yeah.
when you know me, like my brain is sped up. So this is also like a life practice to enjoy the connective potential of the computer, but resist its speed in a way, giving form to the formless. I mean, one thing I'm sure we'll get into is uh, sound, the tactility of sound. Has always been interesting to me because I like tactile. I like working with my hands. I like the physical. I like material. For a long time, I would have described myself as a materialist and probably an atheist or something like that. So the way I get into the way I get into and maybe past reality is through material. And I really enjoy that. So in making music, I want to build material interfaces that allow me to make music differently. So giving form to the formless for me kind of that's where my mind goes is how can we bring sound, which is, I wouldn't say formless at all, but without material form, how can we bring it to the body? How can we experience it differently? And how can our bodies, um, uh, through sound, engage differently with the world? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's awesome. It also brings me to our spoons
Yeah,
because,
I took mine out too.
all right, well, this is the one that Peter gave me. We'll get into the story in a minute.
That's
And
the
then
one I did.
this is the one you did.
Wow, actually, it's two turns, huh?
Yeah, it's a little loop.
Yeah, wow.
Um, so before we start to intellectualize this, maybe I'll just describe kind of.
Yeah, one of the things that I came on here thinking is I want to hear from your experience how that workshop went because I haven't heard it. Kind like
Sure.
you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you joined late last time we had our talk. So, yeah, God, this was, here's mine.
Mm, such a good spoon too.
Ah, it's beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Um, I had brought one of my own. I didn't know that Shannon would have us choose ours. Um, and so I got there. I was already a little nervous coming into Lilydale. I'm always just thinking I'm going to stick out like a sore thumb, which I did, but it's like those are things that I'm learning how to radically trust that I'm in the right space.
Mm.
I walked in and Shannon started talking. I was just starstruck because I'm such a huge fan of hers. And I knew I was pretty confident that it would happen. I wouldn't have bought the ticket if I didn't think I could do it.
Yeah.
And when we went over to choose our spoons, she'd given some divination tools, some dowsing rods, remember?
Yeah.
And I think a pendulum. I wasn't using any of those, but it was so funny because the woman that was next to me was using the dowsing rods to choose hers. And as soon as I reached for one, she already had her hand on it. And she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." I'm like, "No, it's just kind of proof that the dowsing rods work."
Yeah.
And it wasn't this one. And then I immediately saw this one and it's intricate, like floral
Yeah.
pattern. And I also wanted to choose the thickest, strongest spoon that I could not bend with strength. Just because I just wanted to see. I didn't really know the difference between telekinesis and psychokinesis yet. I didn't realize, I didn't know what we would be doing. So I just wanted to pick the thickest spoon. And so I chose this stainless steel from Japan, it says. And then Shannon had us do the meditation portion. So Uri Geller, who is the founder of spoon bending, an Israeli mystic, from what I know, his method was the second method, right?
I actually think it was the second method was the method of the guy that runs the museum at Lilydale.
Oh,
Ah, and Yuri's method, because Yuri's a controversial figure, Yuri's method, his method was like more individual.
oh,
And so I think the collective approach was actually, we have to look up his name, but the guy who, yeah, runs the museum at Lilydale.
okay,
Maybe I can figure out his name. But yeah, keep going. I'll figure out his name.
sure. Oh yeah, I remember now how it went because Shannon was asking a woman in the crowd, "Oh, do you want to?" She's like, "Oh, I wasn't sure." I remember now. Anyway, she had us sit with it and think about like all of the meals it's been a part of, its history, where it's been, how many laughs and emotions and how many families it's been passed down through, how it got to me. And someone said something about getting in between its molecules or something. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, 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 I can do it. And I
Yeah.
was focusing so hard. I'm like, my meditation practice is good. I'm like, I'm going to do it. And sitting there meditating, thinking of all these things, really feeling powerful. I actually had put my Palo Santo oil all over it to kind of give it some of me. Nothing, 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 nothing. But then you guys were sitting behind me, and it was like back from what I remember, it was like back to back. You're like, got one, got one, got one, got one, got one, got like it was like a few, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I think while Shannon was still talking and kind of going through the process, like the mental process and different kind of physical metaphors for how to think about it, uh, Andrea just did one.
Yeah.
And but for
Before we had
yeah,
even started.
for her it kind of comes like there's not like well, we'll get into this, but she almost does it accidentally, it feels like. But yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
She's
But
like
she
almost taking herself out of it almost, right?
totally. And I didn't do it right away. I kind of waited. I waited to try until Shannon was done talking through the method.
Yeah.
Just I looked it up and it's Ron Nagy.
Oh,
Ron Nagy's method was what we used for the second time. So yeah,
got it. Thank you for that info. Um, yeah, I could hear you guys, and I was trying not to look because I didn't know you yet. I was like, oh, I just want to do it so bad. I think I was putting a lot of pressure on myself,
yeah.
which I learned a few seconds later when you handed me this one and said, "Hey, do you want mine? Like just to keep?" You know, Shannon was saying that it helps to hold one that's already been done, so that your mind knows that it can happen. And so I was like, yeah, of course. And I went and I just put it in my backpack and we stood up to do the second method, which was filling the room with a bunch of joy and positive energy, jumping up and down twice, spinning around once, and then trying.
Mhm.
Jumped up and down twice, spun around once, and mine went bloop.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was so strange. I immediately started crying.
Yeah, I
Like,
remember.
God, it like my life changed in that 1 second. Like, I still don't even have words for it really, but it's like, it's not like it gets warm or anything, you know? It's just like I liken it to like a bobby pin. Like if you were trying to bend a bobby pin between two fingers, it'd be very easy, but tiny bit of a tiny, tiny bit of pressure. This could have never happened.
Yeah. It feels almost molten for a little while. You
Yes,
know?
but not hot.
No. Yeah, not hot.
Not hot at all.
Here's the really thick one that I did.
Ooh. Oh, that's the one with the bent spoon
Yeah.
part.
And then here's the one that I think is quite beautiful,
Wow.
you know. Um,
Wow.
yeah,
So,
I think it's funny. I told you this already, but I immediately I saw you when I came in the room. I didn't know who these people would be at this symposium.
yeah.
Um I was kind of introduced to it through two friends, Andrew and Trevor, and they and my intention the whole time during the weekend was to hang back, was to um, just watch and observe and listen and kind of learn about belief and this community. You know, I have lots of beliefs that go beyond, I think. Go beyond the rational for sure.
Hmm.
But like go beyond the material and this is something I've been exploring a bit more intentionally over the past few years. But again, this isn't my community. I didn't want to kind of assert myself. And there we were in first thing was a spoon bending workshop. And I walk in and there were a few people who I was like, oh wow, there's these people look like folks I want to hang out with and it sounds so judgy that I even had that thought, but I just didn't know what to expect and I didn't know who would be there.
Yeah.
Um,
These spaces can feel a little homogenized sometimes.
yeah, of course, you
You
know.
know, like as a black woman, I come and I'm like, I'm probably gonna be the only black girl. And I met, one.
Yeah,
She was a cutie.
yeah.
And there was a couple other people of color there, but it's few and far between. So I was just bracing for that. And, it was just immediately felt safe in y'all's presence too. It was so interesting.
I mean, weirdly, as an academic, like one of the things that I'm heightened to is um the plurality of perspectives in a space, you know,
Yeah.
or whether there is or are multiple perspectives going on, you know.
Yeah.
And I find that often in these types of spaces that rely on an unprovable belief in a way, unprovable in quotes a bit.
Right. I mean,
Um,
this is pretty proof to me.
yeah, I want to get into that.
Oh my God.
Uh, you know, I'm wary of these communities in a way, and so you know, I was pleasantly surprised by the cross section of people that you know, just intellectually, physically, the from an interest standpoint, it was a really wonderful group of people that attended Shannon's symposium, and we're in that room. You know, a lot of the people got there early and went to the spoon bending workshop. And so I knew Andrea would be able to bend spoons. I've seen her do it before. I've seen her do it in states like yeah. It one of the reasons that I felt like I can do it or could do it is that I've seen it done, you know, and then
Yeah.
tried to bend back the spoons that she's bent and
Yeah.
tried to do like repeat what she's done and failed because I wasn't there, you know?
Hmm.
And so I felt a lot of possibility and also I I'm the kind of person that wants everyone to experience joy. Like the collective joy thing for me is was really exciting. Ron's method felt exactly right, and I'm glad we all stood in a circle and did that. Um, but to and you know, just one other thing. So I bent a few spoons and I gave two of them away, actually, one to you and then one to this other.
Yeah, I remember she was sitting next to me, wasn't she? Yeah.
Yeah, and we were all chatting for a
Hmm.
while, you know, and to me it was all about like it's trust me, like just take this, play with it, and it's like it's not strength, it's something else, you know.
Yeah.
And this was actually the first one I bent, and it's such a little tiny,
Wow. That
it's
was
such a
your
tiny.
first.
I had bent a spoon at a party a couple months earlier. But so it's not the first spoon I bent, but it's the first one I bent in
Mm.
that workshop. But it's such a
Oh,
small
gotcha.
little spoon. And so I, like you, was I went back and grabbed the thickest spoon I could see because it felt like it was possible in that room. And then for me, there's a couple things that happen. And I don't, is it okay if I go into what it feels like? And then
Please.
I want to hear what it felt like to you too.
Please. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, so you have a spoon and you're kind of playing with it and you're what I call maybe doing the work, like exploring the spoon, like actually recognizing its objectness, but also thinking about how it came to be a spoon, like what the material transformations that it's gone through to become this, like the mining of metal, like all of those things. I like using objects to play with those ideas.
Yeah.
And I am warming the spoon, like I'm touching it. I'm understanding it, and I'm not
Yeah.
trying to like blow on it and heat it up, but I'm letting it become malleable in lots of different ways, like me, it, and um, I don't know, honestly, and this will be a funny admission. I don't know if there's any kind of um uh I don't know to what degree there is a type of like divine intervention in the
Right.
spoon. I don't. But I deeply believe that we have more access to material than we think we do. What Shannon said about the molecules being so far apart and the space between them being far more present than whatever we understand as matter. Like what is matter? No one knows what
Yeah.
material is. For me, it's you know, it's energy. It's really tightly wound energy, you know.
Yeah.
So if you can kind of get into that a bit, then the material feels less solid and more about possibility. And then, crucially, and you alluded to this, um, I think you have to let go. You have to
Yeah.
let go of the attempt at trying. You have to let go at
It's like
the,
gonna make me emotional again.
yeah, I mean, but it's not about spoon bending even for me at this point. It's about everything. Like if
Yes.
you do the work, you come prepared, you're present to something, and then crucially, you let go. I think that is where that is what spoon bending teaches. Whether it's a spiritual practice, whether it's a transmutation of whatever degree, I almost doesn't matter. It's about possibility and what it can show for me.
It's no, I feel almost identical.
Yeah.
Like that moment. I couldn't even stop crying because it had felt like my entire life was kind of like this winding, and I've been through so much shit that I almost felt like an embodiment of the spoon, you know? And all this effort, all this concerted effort, and all of this kind of like, God, sometimes I put myself through hell even with this podcast,
Mhm.
you know? And it's like the moment you give it some levity, some breath, oh, oh,
Yeah.
hey, like life doesn't have to be a fight, is what I learned in that second.
Yeah.
And
I,
that was huge for me.
yeah.
You know, there was so much, it changed about everything about the way I think. I haven't even written this episode yet, but when I start to really get into it, there's going to be some shit. There's going to be some tears because this was just absolutely reality bending, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know? And again, yeah, I don't know if it was some outside force but what I do know is, like I've mentioned to you before on the Kabbalistic tree of life, the the first sphere is spirit and the last is earth. You have all the planetary Sephiroth in the middle. The path of the flaming sword, or the lightning flash as they call it, and Shannon said the same thing, takes the path of least resistance. It goes right
Mm.
down to meet earth. Man doesn't get to do that. Man has to wind its way all the way around. That's our human experience. But there's a moment that happens very quickly where spirit does meet matter. And that's what I was envisioning, just because that's what my teachings, have taught me.
Yeah.
But even that embodiment of what I've been learning and studying, and I still am wrapping my mind around, it was just like a rapid way of showing me
Yeah.
all these diagrams. And I've got my protractor and I'm learning planets, and I'm you know doing invocations and things. It's like, boop,
Yep.
universe just booped me on the nose.
Totally. And then you can like almost look back and think about moments of freeness and how they emerge. And I mean, I'm a musician by training. I play brass instruments, and I remember some of the best moments of performing were knowing that I had done the work and then forgetting it all so that I can just play. And that's what I think happened when we were all jumping around. Like we had, what, 50 adults in a room
Hmm.
jumping around and just being giddy and playful and not thinking about all those things we were talking about before, not thinking about homogeneity of it perspective, not thinking about identity, not thinking about
Yeah,
those, just for a moment,
yeah,
just being present to ourselves and the spoons, and then it's like joy in material form, you know?
yes,
Um,
yeah, absolutely. I felt the same way about my dance practice too, you know? You
mhm,
you give yourself this structure and you work and you work and you work, and then the second you hit the stage, you let it all go. And then
mhm.
it's just pure, like it's so pure. It doesn't come without the preparation, but you can't take all of that with you. It's almost like it's like how you need to be kind of, what am I trying to say? The two dragons, like at the outside of a Chinese temple, are
Mhm,
meant to devour you.
mhm.
You can't go in. Whatever your version of you is can't go if you really, are wanting to be enlightened or ascended or whatever the end goal is. It's like we've got to take all that shit away. And it was just such a rapid lesson.
And this is where I feel like, I mean, not to get real big, but this is where the systems that we've developed to be functional as humans within like our current society, I think fail us because they're based on these, not entirely, but often in like modern society, they're based on these kind of rational and scientific principles that are incredible, but they're not conducive to that release, that moment of belief, and honestly, for me, it feels like trust, like
Yeah.
trust in the universe, trust in the in people, trust in material, in the earth, and so uh, and that was a big turn that I had to kind of that was that happened in my life, but also was so much supported by conversations with friends
Hmm.
uh, that I had to just get past the ration. I was raised that way, and
Yeah.
so and that's where this it's not it this does not for me this does not prove that we can bend spoons with our mind or we are, but what it does is it proves that I that thinking is not how I can do the most amazing things, like,
Yes.
so
Yes.
anyway, I don't know if that I didn't say that.
Yes. Oh no, that's, I mean,
Yeah,
breakthroughs here.
yeah,
It's just it's been so special to experience this with you and to have
yeah.
somebody to like, if I would have just gone and done it silently and came home, I would have been like, it's just to process things. And I do think that's why, because I've been thinking about this a lot. I'm like, gosh, going into all these things has felt so daunting, even from my own life. And then it's like people have been researching the paranormal for years. We met so many amazing intellectuals. And I just think that the act of having a conversation about it is bringing us closer. It's like
Yeah,
creating some connectivity. I hadn't had any conversations
yeah,
at all since my dad died. Like I've been completely in this like gestation period alone. I got rid of a lot of friends that were not supporting me in the way I needed. I haven't been making new friends. I don't like even just like I kind of having a strange like dissociative moment right now because
yeah,
how I got here is just by leaning into that mystery and kind of going towards the things that I hadn't spoken about or the things that were making me uncomfortable. And again, that radical trust. And the second I was able to open up about my sleep paralysis experience, for instance, on stage at PRS, now I'm here,
yeah,
It's like the more honest we are, the more honesty is reflected back, and it's just actually been so beautiful.
yeah,
I don't know if I would have God, I don't know. I'm processing a lot as I'm speaking. But I think that humans understanding each other and connecting are gonna get us out of this kind of hellfire that is happening.
yeah. And
Um, as apolitical as spoon bending is, there's something else happening, I
yeah,
think.
humans believing that we are more than, and not like in a centralizing way, not in a better than way, but different. Like we have an access to something that is special, and we don't exercise that access. And yeah, I don't know. Spoon bending for me is a window into into material play.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and that's what we all experience. And that's why that Ron Nagy method that Shannon kind of alluded to, and then everyone was like, ha ha ha. And then we just got up and did it. And
Mm-hmm.
what was it, like five or six people who had never bent a spoon before, all of a sudden just immediately bent a spoon.
Immediate.
And I bent a spoon that I never thought I could bend. Like this, I
That is,
to convey in video, but this I could
it's
not
hard.
move
Yeah.
this. And and I bent it in two stages. Usually when you bend, it's just whoop and it is bent. But
Hmm.
this one felt like it needed to be bent again. I was talking to you and Trevor, I think, and just playing with it still, and then whoop happened again.
Hmm.
I think a lot of it is is just collectively being excited about the possibilities of being alive and what that means, and what that could mean if we didn't constrain it in all of the kind of socio-political ways that we do constrain it. Yeah, I don't know. You know, it doesn't answer questions for me.
No.
It just opens up more spaces of possibility. You know, we put these molecules in these strange shapes, and I don't want to attribute desire, but like there's maybe some analog to how we shape or are shaped ourselves. And so if maybe there's another thing that is opened up in here, it's that we can reshape ourselves, like
Yeah.
and that's something that's important, and that we, you know, especially as we get older, we feel like less and less possibility. But you know, again, through guidance with friends, I like feel like there's so much possibility inside of me, like more than ever, and it has so much to do with like love and trust and belief, which, like, if you heard if I told this to myself at 27, I would be like, you have lost it, buddy.
Thanks again, Peter. You can find Peter's work at triangleline.com. From this spoon in my hand, which will live on my altar as long as I do, next to Peter's, its catalyst, to this brilliant and exploratory conversation, I'm reminded that the real talisman isn't the steel itself. It's not the item, it's not the pageantry, not even the cool story of being able to say that I did this. It's the moment when mind shapes matter. May this remind you too that what feels impossible can yield under the weight of our collective focus. Spoon-bending phenomena aside, what might that look like in our lives? I don't know, something to think about. I now affirm the sphere dissolved and the transmission complete. So it is. If you've had a psychic, paranormal, or unexplained experience, you can call or text our listener line, The Void, at 323-332-1190. Follow us on Instagram at EtherPod, and join me at patreon.com/theetherpod. That's TheAetherPod for bonus episodes, guest interviews, ASMR, sound, tarot, and much more. This podcast has been brought to you by SpectreVision Radio. Theme music by Late Life. Created, edited, and produced by Nicole Johnstone.